This flowering plant is native to Europe, Asia, and North America's temperate zones, where it can be found in sunny meadows with well-drained soil. It can reach a height of 3 feet and has fern-like leaves as well as at least one head with 15 to 25 white flowers no bigger than a dime each. Known for its hardiness and extensive rhizome system which extends in all directions, many consider it to be an invasive weed. Though it wasn't always thought of that way. The Englishmen of the 17th century ate the young leaves in salads, as did the Indian tribes throughout the Rocky Mountains. Modern foragers may want to try the simple recipe for yarrow soup, as documented in All Good Things Around Us. Or you can drink it. What part of yarrow is used for tea? It is the dried white flowers that are the part traditionally used for brewing an herbal tea and making tinctures. How to make the tea is fairly straightforward. Steep the dry petals for 10 minutes in hot water. Some recipes make use of the whole leaves and those require actual boiling for 10 to 20 minutes, in order to get the flavors and essential oils out. What does yarrow taste like? There's a good reason why finding where to buy it is so difficult. It's not poisonous or toxic, but the leaves are quite bitter when raw. The flowers used for making tea also have astringent qualities, a bittersweet flavor that some liken to the tarragon. Now since tarragon is mutagenic, indeed it is an excellent alternative for cooking. For drinking, almost any tea for sale, if you can even find it for sale locally, will be mixed with other herbs like ginger, peppermint, elderberry, or elderflower to subdue its bitterness. History of using it medicinally. You don't have to know Latin to recognize the first word in its scientific name, Achillea millefolium. Achillea, the name of its genus, comes from the mythical Greek hero, Achilles. You may not know the legend, but you do know what an Achilles heel is. Both figuratively and medically, its meaning is well known. The second word in the plant's name, millefolium, comes from the Latin word militaris. According to the story, the yarrow had magical properties. He used it to heal other warriors on the battlefield as well as himself, making Achilles almost invincible if it weren't for his vulnerable ankles from infancy. The Chinese have used the stalks as part of a divination ceremony. A cast with 64 was believed to represent yin and yang in harmony. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's believed to be a good healing herb for the common cold, toothache, indigestion, and colic. They also consider the leaves to be delicious edible vegetables. Meanwhile, in the West, it was part of what's called the 9 herbs charm. This Old English charm dates back to the 10th century AD and was reportedly used for fighting infections and poisoning. Originally it was said to use yarrow, though easier to find rosemary replaced it. It has been part of India's Ayurveda medicine and here at home, it was a Native American remedy. While the translations cannot be fully relied on, botanists believe they were using it for the treatment of wounds, bleeding ulcers, headaches, toothaches, and gastrointestinal issues. For some tribes, it was very important, as the Navajo counted it among their sacred life medicines list. You can read more about this in Native American medicinal plants. Other names for it include milfoil herb, woundwort, bloodwort, nosebleed plant, sanguinary, old man's pepper, devil's nettle, carpenter's weed, noble yarrow, and staunch grass. Yarrow uses and benefits. These are what people have claimed yarrow is good for in traditional medicine and as purported herbal remedies. To stop bleeding when used topically. Ointment to support wound healing. Reducing cramps, gas, and bloating. Tea in a cold compress for fevers. Anti-anxiety tonic. Sedative tea to sleep. Delaying periods. Reducing menstrual cramping pain. Women's endometriosis, external uterine tissue. Women's fibroids, non-cancerous uterine growths. Men's epididymitis, swollen tube near testicles. Menopause symptom relief. Bladder inflammation, cystitis. Urinary tract infections, UTI. Rinsing gray hair to restore color. Topical acne treatment. Weight loss. While it is true that a few things on that list have preliminary evidence to support them, most have virtually zero scientific data to justify their claimed use. Here's a look at what science really says. Wound healing. Using yarrow for wounds and scars dates back thousands of years, but if you search the 27 million medical citations in the PubMed database, you will discover it has only been within the past decade that scientists started giving it serious scrutiny. In 2017, a study was published involving rats that were inflicted with cutaneous wounds, incisions. For 2 weeks after, some were left untreated while others were given topical treatments extracted from Achillea asiatica sargent, which is a less common species. They found the extract reduced inflammatory cytokines and stimulated collagen production, both of which seemed to improve the healing process. Also in 2017 were 2 human clinical trials. The first involved wound healing in pregnant women. In a double-blinded trial, 140 women were randomly divided into 4 groups, each given different placebo and herbal ointments. Menstrual cramps and pain. Technically known as dysmenorrhea, this is one of the most touted benefits of drinking yarrow tea. Yet only one clinical study exists on this topic, and that didn't even exist until 2015. Women who attended a university in Iran were split into 2 groups. Half received the herbal tea bags to use for the 3 days they were going through their period. The other half received a placebo tea. Each group did this twice, through 2 cycles. The severity of the menstrual cramps and other side effects were much lower in the yarrow group, and as such, the scientists concluded that A. millefolium is effective in minimizing the pain severity in primary dysmenorrhea. Interesting, but one small human trial is far from being proof. The idea that yarrow can stop or delay periods has not been studied whatsoever. Likewise for menopause symptoms. Bacteria, viruses, and fungi. For starters, let's address the myth of using yarrow for COVID-19 coronavirus treatment. If you've come across that online, know that there is zero science or research to support that. This is a total myth, and yarrow should not be used to treat, prevent, or cure COVID-19, or any other virus. Yarrow essential oil has been studied in the lab for some bacteria. Using Escherichia coli strains isolated from patients with urinary tract infections, Iranian researchers found that yarrow essential oil made from the Achillea wilhelmsii species displayed high inhibitory effects. However, that was with the bacteria in a petri dish. Its effectiveness in humans is unknown and has never been tested. Oil from this same species also showed antimicrobial activity against methicillin-susceptible and methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus strains in the lab. Side effects. Since only a few human studies have been published, the side effects of yarrow tea, essential oil, and other forms of the plant remain largely unknown. Known and suspected adverse reactions include increased risk of bleeding, drowsiness, frequent urination, allergic reaction, dangers during pregnancy, unknown breastfeeding safety. Other side effects which have not yet been identified are also possible. Being a member of the Asteraceae compositae family means that people who have reactions to ragweed may have an allergy to yarrow. Using the extract for skincare could cause contact dermatitis. Drinking or using this herb while pregnant is most likely unsafe, given the preliminary evidence that it might alter menstrual cycles. To avoid the risk of miscarriage, birth defects, and other side effects which may result, avoid consumption of yarrow flower powders, teas, oils, and all other forms of the plant. If you enjoyed this video, kindly press the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, so that you don't miss out on videos like this. Thank you for watching.